Welcome, another live Pittsburgh Sports Line show in the BP TV studios. Smoking Jim was interrupting us before the start with some outrageous statement about, never mind. We won't talk about it. Thank you for watching our show. We appreciate it. This is going to be our last Thursday night show. Next week, I got to say this loud, Smoking Jim, next Tuesday, the 8th, that's June 8th, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Try to be at least 2 minutes early. We'll be doing Pittsburgh Sports Line back where we had over 9.5 years. So we're going on back until the next notification. We might have to change. It's up in the air, so we'll see what happens. But this will be our last Thursday night show, and we're going to start Tuesday nights next week, as I repeat it again for all of you, and especially my co-host, Smoking Jim. The other co-hosts, Chip and Nick, they understand. Connor's a volunteer. He understands. Anthony told me we can have pizza again, so I'll see if they'll sponsor us with a pizza.
All right.
And we'll do that. Dan the Man is here, second week in a row on Pittsburgh Sports Line. But thank all of you for watching Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Again, that's only in Bethel Park. Verizon 32 in the greater Pittsburgh area from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and most points in between. We had a little discussion before. Horizon has different hubs. It's a little complex for most of us in sports, but we'll just go with that. At least they have us throughout the greater Pittsburgh area. And then thanks for the likes on Pittsburgh Sports Line on Facebook, for watching our show and liking the page. We had 6917, so thank you very much for that. And we have a lot of interesting sports to talk about as usual. Maybe we'll have controversy again. We'll see with opinions on what happens. But I have some sponsors here. We're going to test Connor right off the bat. Let's see what my man... Oh, wait. Hold up. Hold up. Where's Anthony? Anthony Veltri, come on in. It's his 1-year anniversary filming, doing the audio, having his own TV show in BP TV. Look at the cameras. You get the Talking Machine presentation. Grab a cupcake.
Save me a white one.
Pass that to Smoking Jim. Let him get a white one. You'll be last. You're the youngest on the team.
Right, really?
And Dan, if you want to come in, you can get one. Connor, you can grab one. Go ahead.
Save me a vanilla one.
That a boy, Connor!
Go ahead. Dan, smile to the camera. This guy's a new rookie of the year.
The brother gets a
Take
brother.
that with you and
The
throw it
brother
out.
gets a
Thank
brother.
you. Here's napkins for everybody. Napkins.
You got chocolate, all right.
You need napkins.
Is there
Yeah,
anything?
give me some of them napkins, bro.
Here, give him a couple. He's weak.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we got to get those things out. I had a couple great cookies. Chip, what type were they again?
Molasses.
Molasses. They were great. They had a little cinnamon in there, I think.
Oh, I like
And
those.
Stephanie Hayner is just the best. Thank you, Stephanie. We appreciate it. All of us tried one. I had to have two, but thank you. I didn't want Smoking Jim to get one, but we did our best. But that's what's going on. Now we can test Connor. How's your fingers there? You ready, Connor? He's good. He gave the thumbs up.
No, maybe you didn't go in there.
Let's see what happens. Bam.
They're good.
I can't wait.
Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Great Italian food, salads, you name it. I'm sure they have Italian ice now. It's some of the best around. Even Smoking Jim liked Italian ice. What's your favorite flavor, Smoking?
Italian ice?
Yeah.
I like anything red. Cherry, watermelon, strawberry.
He leans towards that watermelon. He'll explain that later, but we won't talk about a Giant Eagle adventure where we found them. But that's another story. But they have great food. Just tell them Al Levine, the Talking Machine, sent them to Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Look at the work that Connor did. Bang. Oh, there it is. That's Joey before, without DIPG. Joey, once he had DIPG, it's a dreaded brain cancer, and it kills everybody once they're diagnosed with it. He died before his 10th birthday 7 years ago. His family's done great things. They do things in the community, and they've gathered over $100,000 to give to doctors to find a cure. Because unlike some folks like our co-host Smoking Jim, we believe in science and doctors. So hopefully they find a cure for the DIPG. And thanks for all they do. And yeah, so we'll just see that. Here we go, another 501c3. Connor's on fire. Look at this. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. The red trolley's there. You can't miss it, right out front. They have different events throughout the year with the country opening up and masks not having to be worn if you're vaccinated. They'll have events back again there, so stay tuned for that. They're great. 1905 schoolhouse, been refurbished. They got a brand new roof, cupola, all new windows. Great businesses in there, great library, great military uniforms. So check it out. Right there, 2600 South Park Road. My new friend, Kathleen Miller, needs a kidney possibly in the next 6 months or so. So we're trying to promote her. You can go to Living Donor Reg at upmc.com if you want to donate a kidney. You can, or just contact the hospital. We'll get that number for you. You could be a match and help save a person's life. So that'd be great. Check that out. Next up, I like the little delay with that TV. Connor, you did great again. Check out Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you and your groups in Bethel Park doing great things in the community. $100 to $5,000, and they have the money. They've given out $1 million in 25 years, give out over $100,000 a year to local organizations. So check it out, and you can donate to them. Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. You'll see what I mean. Somehow my face is on, yep, Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV, 412-831-3304. Just tell them Uncle Al sent you, the host of Pittsburgh Sportsline, and give them a call. Like I said, look, we got Nick, we got Dan joined us. Connor's been here for a couple years, I think. We'll have to check his resume. And you got Anthony on his 1-year anniversary. Nick, how many months do you have? Was it November you started?
6 now, yeah. 7, actually. No, 8. I'm good at math.
You didn't go to Gateway, right?
I went to
You went to
Keystone.
KO, so I understand the same problem at KO. We've had that for
7.
years. He did say 7.
7.
7.
That's,
KO.
got
Go
it.
KO.
Good math.
All right, here's the challenge for Connor. He's undefeated. Look at Nick and I look good. We're intense. Whoa! Unbelievable. 6103, Route 88. I was just there. I had some oil light that came on. So Nick and Denny, and I met a couple guys. I had an interesting conversation for a guy, believe it or not, over 2.5 hours about ancient history and biblical history. So you never know what you'll talk about. Smoking Jim's never talked about that at Skeets.
Never.
And then I thought they were working on my car, and they said, we really can't do anything. We might have to get a sensor for it. Then the light went out when I drove home, so I said, I'll be back for my inspection in July. But they work on anything and everything on gas, so give them a call. They work on electronic devices and fix it, not necessarily your cell phone, Smoking Jim, who has 2 of them or 3, whatever he tells you, just believe him. When one phone goes bad, he got a couple more, so somehow that happens. But just check it out, 724-348-4715. And they sponsor, Skeet sponsors What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
They're coming at you.
you
High,
got
hard
to
one.
see Levine. Hey, Connor, can you get a close-up of Al's chest? Hairy chest. Hey,
One of our comments.
Al Levine, the talking machine.
Yes, how you
What
doing?
I've been working on with Connor is our kicking, since Gateway now has every player eligible for the last 50 years. Congratulations to the PIAA giving us the best quarterback in the state.
Hold it, wait. Look what we've had for years here. There's the Al Levine, the talking machine, registered football from my Keystone Oak days, being a champion during lunch and breaks.
Is that older than me?
Yes.
And-
Look at how it goes. Here
And
it is. Touchdown.
And congratulations, Pine Ridgeland hired a new coach. We can't wait to beat them 50-0 to punish
Hold
them
it,
for all
Smoking
that
Jim.
bullying they've been
I
doing.
just heard a breaking news that this coach has a record of 3-7
For Pine Ridgeland.
in 1 year. No, his last year was his first year. He was 3-7.
Really? Wow.
So I believe
Good.
the fix is in for Gateway to
Yes, can't wait. Been looking forward to that. But Al Levine, the talking machine, I need you and Chip to back me up.
win. No.
I'm an
Let me
honest,
tell you, no.
I'm
What
an
about me?
honest man.
He cut you to this.
What about me?
I'm an honest man, and nobody believes me. Al Levine, the talking machine.
I don't believe you.
And Chip, did I not say before the NBA playoffs that Brooklyn would win it all?
Yes.
See?
They haven't.
I'm just saying.
I have one question on this, man. I have one question. How many games did they win in the first series?
No, I was on a show last night, and
Yeah.
I said, well, they asked me who could win. I said before the season started that Brooklyn would win it all. Even my best friend, one of my best friends, Claudio, says, I don't believe that. I didn't hear that. They said
I was there.
Brooklyn.
I can attest.
Yeah, so I need Al
I believe
Levine.
him.
Hey, I need a note from my teacher, Al Levine, the talking machine, to say I said it. But
Hold
hey,
it. I got the green.
that's it. Hey, bittersweet,
I'll put no.
bittersweet day for
Whoa.
me. One, I picked up my $1,000 on one on the Pirates this week. That was sweet. But here's the bittersweet Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm happy that we're going back to Tuesdays because, you know, I do championship chase on Thursdays. But it's my last day getting a prime rib special at Pasta 2.
Oh.
Why?
So I threw in the little spaghetti, meatballs, and Italian sausage
What about
to go
Ziti?
with it.
What about Ziti? No Ziti.
You know what? I didn't know how to really do the ziti good. I know how to do
Here's
spaghetti
what you
good.
do. Put a little Parmesan cheese on.
I don't know
Get
what
a
that is.
spoon and a fork. Twirl it. If not, you just pick them up individually.
I don't know how to do all that.
Well, I just explained it, folks.
But
Text Smoking Jim because he won't answer a phone.
But real quickly, this is what's on my mind. Al Levine, the talking machine, you know I believe in coaching, which is lacking now in the NFL. Back in the day, Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Shula, Chuck Noll, they could coach any position. Al Levine, the talking machine, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I was the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have about 10 Super Bowls. But what I would do, Al Levine, the talking machine, and Nick and Chip, I would move David DeCastro from guard to center for 1 year. DeCastro always wanted to play center. He went to Stanford to play center. He's really your only experienced offensive lineman. What an experienced offensive lineman will do for you at the center position, he can make all the line calls. We got Kendrick Green coming in here that's going to be a great player from Illinois. But don't forget, when Dramarty Dawson came in here, a Hall of Fame center, he played guard his first year because the great Mike Webster was still playing center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would move. Nowadays, you don't have a Curly Culp or a Casey Hampton or a Saragusa at nose guard. So for most part, there's nobody over the center in today's NFL, so DeCastro don't have to worry about getting beat up by the nose guard. Very experienced. He can make all the line calls, and it'll be a good transition for the young guys for at least one season. And that's what's on my mind. I would move David DeCastro the center. I think I'm the only one saying that.
Well, you're a Steeler scout. Just go to the line coach and talk to him.
Well, first of all,
You got to talk to him.
I'm sure
Get
he
a
won't.
cup of coffee from him and then go talk to him.
I'm sure once championship chase starts, he won't want to talk to me because I'm going to rip him every day. He shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? He's an assistant to the assistant. He never should have got that job. I say it everywhere I go, so and that would be a little hypocritical for me to go to somebody that I don't think can do the job,
Yeah.
to ask them to do something that they can't even do themselves. He's a finesse guy when he came out of college, and he got cut by the New England Patriots because he didn't see a run block he ever wanted to make.
Right. And one honest question for a degenerate gambler. Where's the $1,000 that you got?
You know what?
He bet it.
I rolled it over.
What did I tell you, folks? Remember, look this word up, degenerate gambler.
Can you teach me how to throw dice?
I don't know how. What don't you understand?
You look like a dice thrower when I see you at the casino.
Let me share what I gambled. 0. What did you gamble that night? $250.
Yeah.
And you didn't walk away with anything that night.
No, I didn't.
See, he's honest for another minute, folks. All right, let's go to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Alan. And what's on my mind is time to say hallelujah. The Savior has returned. Brian Hayes is in his first game since opening day.
He don't even know who he
Opening
is.
Since opening
he's-
day against the Miami Marlins, Brian Hayes is back in the Pirates lineup after spending his longest stint in his career on the IR.
Wow.
So,
That's the curse of injuries I discovered 2 years ago with Penguins and Pirates.
but
Plus
you know,
Steelers.
so that's good news for the Pirates. I guess bad news for Smoking Jim,
Yeah,
because
the streak is over.
yeah,
I need the recipe for
because
that.
because,
It's good.
because you know, the best fielder
can't
and
even
the best
boil
hitter
water.
on the team is now back in the lineup. So
Chip,
I'll be
that's
down at
good news.
PNC Park tomorrow night. Looking forward to watching to see how he plays the hot corner.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
But that being said, now we're a couple of weeks removed from the Penguins debacle
Yeah,
against the New York Islanders. And after giving careful thought and consideration, the general manager came out and said, we're not blowing up the team. We're not getting rid of Tristan Jarry.
Chip, I heard that on Mark Madden. So I was going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up now. I'll think of
Yeah.
something else. But I was shocked by what he said. So carry on. Sorry to
So,
interrupt
you
you.
know, so, you know, you think about, and some of the things he said yesterday, you know, I thought about and I mulled them over, and then I gave it some more thought. And that makes sense because Tristan Jarry, you know, the Penguins have him signed for 2 more years.
Right.
Okay, at $3.5 million a season. He's a young goaltender, and that was his first experience in the playoffs without the backup that he had. As I
During the
said,
year, yeah.
as I said,
2.
the Penguins were a two-headed goaltending monster.
Right.
Okay, with Casey DeSmith and Tristan Jarry together, they could have made a run. With one of them, not so much, and Jarry never was the lead horse, and he had to become that. And they found out he's a little bit overmatched for the position. I think he'll learn from his experience in the playoffs this year, and I think he'll come back as a better goaltender moving forward. The Penguins, you know, after thinking about this and commenting that I felt Evgeny Malkin, the Penguins are a better team without him playing than they are with him. But thinking about it, when Evgeny Malkin is healthy, he's still a stud. He is still a stud. And
How's
if
he
you
not?
think about it right now, what could the Penguins possibly get in return for him in trade right now?
Right.
At 35, 36 years old, on the last year of a contract, the return on him would not be as good as what the production you can get out of him.
Potentially, yeah.
If he is healthy. So, you know, it makes sense to keep the core group together. And, you know, if you look at all the statistical categories that the Penguins are in the top 5
Right.
in all of the NHL, you know, they had a bad first round experience. I think that they're making the right decision. I think there will be some additions made to the team, but they're going to be minor. There's not going to be major blowing up of the team. as everybody on Twitter and social media, the Steelers 12-4 last year. They won the division, got abused in the playoffs. So let's blow up everything and start over again. So the Penguins, one of the top 5 teams in the league, bad experience in the first round. So let's blow up everything. I think people really need to get their heads out of somewhere where the sun don't shine and start letting the people that run the teams make the decisions, because you know what? These are 2 franchises that have a lot of success. And we are spoiled as Pittsburgh sports fans. And I think we just need to be patient, let things happen. And I think they'll happen in a positive way for both the Steelers and the Penguins this year.
Chip, I got to co-sign that because I talk about the Steeler fans. If they win a game, they're going to the Super Bowl. They lose a game, get rid of Tomlin, and they suck.
I second that.
And that's who
Blow
promotes
it
it.
up.
That's who.
Boom.
That's
Get
who
rid of
promotes
Tomlin.
it. Smoking Jim is an honest man. I lured him right out, and that's what he did. But you're spot on with it. I'll add a couple little things to what you said on my part. But thank you very much for that, because I heard the interview, and then I heard another one with the old 2-9er and Mark Madden, and I got to tell you about that one.
Well, you know what? I will never listen to anything that has anything to do with Mark Madden, because it's a waste of a perfectly. That's a waste of a human being. Right?
Well, I waste about 10 minutes a day listening to the guests that he interviews, because I appreciate
I
the
know.
questions.
You know what? I can't.
Yeah.
I put him on the radio. I swear
Yeah.
I'll have a
Well,
problem.
hey, that's why some people like chocolate cupcakes, and Smoking Jim only eats vanilla.
Yes!
And he loves Stephanie's cookies, as you heard him screaming twice. So thank you again, Stephanie. All right, Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
I got 7
Well,
dozen.
a couple weeks ago on May the
I got
22nd,
7 dozen of them.
Okay.
went to my first boxing match live ever. So
Where
that
at?
was pretty cool. USS Fight Academy. So
You're welcome.
that's on BPTV's YouTube right now, but that was on location a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah,
but it
our
was exciting
boxing,
though.
that
I
was our
gained
boxing.
I gained a new respect for I gained a respect for a new sport, something I hadn't been exposed to before.
Oh, never.
And honestly, I've never been to a live boxing event. The only
that's
boxing
cool.
event
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, the only boxing event I'd seen before was Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao all those years ago, and that
Oh.
was an underwhelming fight. It didn't seem much like, they were just, wasn't too much punching going on.
Well,
so.
Smoke,
but like
Smoking
what-
thinks he's the greatest of all
Right,
time.
yeah.
Second fight in, Smoking Jim's like, that's the fight of the night. These 2 kids were breaking records for punches thrown. It was
That
it was so
nonstop,
fun. It was
right?
so fun.
For
It was
65
so fun.
pounders.
It was so fun.
May
Yeah.
I interrupt for a minute? Brian Hayes in his first at bat, base hit.
Wow.
Hooray.
Go Buccos.
But
Carry
it
on.
just, it's just because I wrestled too, and it reminded me a lot of wrestling. Though,
Sure,
you know,
it's
just
similar.
You need the stamina. You need to fight through
And
things.
you're
like
one-on-one against your opponent. It's
Right.
not a team sport.
you're exposed. You're in the ring. You're on the mat. You're exposed to everything. So yeah, great respect for boxing. Now I can't wait to go back and take a look at more events as I'm
June
invited.
10th.
So it's official.
Mark your calendar.
I'm going on June 10th to somewhere else.
Longview Country Club. Put that in your Funkin' Wagnalls and read about it, and then get the GPS on it.
But there's a new fan of boxing right here. Appreciate it. So thank
Wow.
you guys.
And great
Excited to
editing
look up.
job. Let me thank you. And he did it the next day.
That's amazing.
So he set a record for BPTV.
Turnaround. Yeah.
Yes, quickest ever. He had to get me out of my PJs and drop the camera off.
That's right. I was finishing off a Panera turkey sandwich, and I was just like, "Yep, time to go edit."
Yeah, I go, why? He goes, I want to edit it. How am I going to refuse a volunteer at BPTV? So, excellent. Glad you liked it, and welcome aboard. Appreciate that. And what's on my mind is I listened to Mark Madden a couple times during his show when we're taking a cruise with my son and I through the South Hills, city of Pittsburgh. You know, we've been doing this during COVID. Just go out cruising to get out of the house, look for Smoking Jim where he might be getting his Kentucky Fried Chicken. We go by the local Kentucky Fried Chicken. They got a special. It says Smoking Jim's 10-piece dark meat special, $10.99. It's right there. Connor saw it today. Connor saw Smoking Jim 10 cars in line. He was out in the street just to turn in the Kentucky Fried. That's how popular it is. So as I'm listening to Mark Madden, who's he have? The old 2-9er, Phil Bourque on. And I thought if they were in person, they were going to come to blows. Madden said that you got to get rid of Tristan Jarry. What players on the Penguin team would play for him? Phil Bork took the opposite, said he'll learn for this, he'll come back from it. He had a good year during the regular season. This was his first playoffs ever, and you never know how people handle it. And he believes the team would be behind him and everything he does, and they like him, and he's a nice young goaltender that has potential. So Madden was saying, I totally disagree, and Bork goes, I'm 100% against you. So Madden comes out, he stole my line, can we agree to disagree? So they said, and they were testy, it was a testy couple minutes, and it was just, shocking to hear the old 2-9er and Mark Madden fighting, but when you're a super genius, which I question how he could be a super genius and treat people so horrific, but these people love him. So
I could answer that.
Go ahead.
People call it with the hope that they're not called idiots. That's the bill.
That doesn't work
right? Like
out
you
well.
want to call and be told you're great by Mark Madden, right? But
No.
then
And
you
he's
don't.
got
Well,
nice-
that's what people want.
and he's got nice teeth too.
Yeah, that's the that's the formula. Get people to call in, and then people want their opinions validated by a guy with a high IQ.
Guess what?
That's the
not,
formula.
That's not my opinion of success, but he's making money at it, so there you go. Then I hear another interview with Brian Burke. It was today. We're on our little cruise, and Madden's talking about blowing up the team, and he goes, hold on there a second. We did very well during the season. We were one of the top 3 teams in the NHL, he said. And Madden's like, well, you still got to make some changes. He went through everything Chip was saying and more, like Chip said, with Mark Madden. So Madden goes, I'm writing a column. I'm going to have to put some of your comments in my column. Because he's been saying get rid of Jake Gensel, get rid of Malkin, maybe Letang. He's been saying all of it, Chip. So I hear this. So for Brian Burke to say that, it was just a great interview to hear him going toe-to-toe with Mark Madden. So that's my little addendum to that, Chip.
Yeah, and once again, it goes to prove that people that have a mouthpiece, whether it be a radio voice or a social media, Twitter tag or whatever you want to call it,
handle or
all these people are experts, right? Everybody could. None of them. I mean, they can't even run their own mouth, let alone try to run a hockey team. So opinions are like everybody's got one, right?
Well, that's why I appreciate when he's interviewing guys, because look at with the old 2-9er. There's a guy that played it, won cups, and look at Brian Burke's had success and has even written a book, and look what he shut down Mark Madden on what he was talking about. So it's always good to hear stuff like that. And I'm not a big fan of the Fan, but most of their other guys, rather not even talk to him. Keep listening to our opinions. We tell you what's truly on our mind, and some of it's based by facts. Not all the time, and I won't say who leads the league in non-factual information. But we'll be back with some fiction and fact.
1 second.
Oh,
1
yeah,
second.
go ahead.
I just want to say, when it comes to hockey, I'll put Mark Madden up against anybody. His hockey knowledge is second to none. You got to give him credit where credit is
I have
due.
to give you this credit. Smoking Jim has zero credibility with baseball playing
I learned
and hockey.
from Madden.
He doesn't.
Oh no!
No wonder you have no knowledge.
We'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.
in a world of Nintendo games has grown popular over time.
Completing all of the levels in Yoshi Island. Have to find a secret exit in Donut Plains to go to the Star World.
But now on BPTV, a new show you've got to see.
Steady place. Oh, it came out at the time I was landing.
One gamer, one winner, one fan, one man. He is Bethel Park Gaming. It's an all-new game show to play around all Nintendo games he can find. And he is ready to beat one game in one episode. And you can be a part of this too by watching all new episodes of Bethel Park Gaming on your local TV station and both YouTube and Facebook pages every Monday at 12 p.m. right here on BPTV.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, my main man, Chip. And I tell you what, Gateway's going to win the WPIL this year and the state. But if we get Connor to kick for us, we'll win the national championship. Me and Connor got the swag. We're only two that got the Nikes on today. You got Nikes on? No, wait.
I do. I do.
You got Nikes on?
Yeah.
I verified it because I don't say I'm an honest man.
I'm not gonna sketch it.
And I tell you,
I'm not an honest
I
man.
tell you what, we got the soul man back there, Dan, the man with the best afro in Bethel Park. And how about my main man, Anthony? 1 year anniversary, it went fast.
Yeah.
Never a hair out of place, always making us look good on the ones and two. And how about Pittsburgh's fastest rising star, the VIP of BPTV, and it's official. The votes is in. Unanimous vote. He is the Rookie of the Year, Nicky Boy, Rookie of the Year, BPTV. Congratulations, Nicky Boy.
Who had the only vote? I rest my case.
But what's on my mind, Al Levine, the talking machine?
No, fiction and fact.
Oh, fiction and fact.
You got carried away.
My
Click
fiction.
the tape, rewind.
Now I'm doing the fiction and fact mainly for Dan the Man, Anthony, Nicky Boy, and Connor, the young people, because the older guys never believe what I say, and it's all honest stuff.
How can we?
They've been exposed to you longer.
1972 was a good year for me. I seen Roberto Clemente's 3000s hit.
Who took you to the game?
I seen the Immaculate Reception.
Who took you to the game?
But here's something for the young people. The Pittsburgh Steelers played after the Immaculate Reception game that I was at. I went to the championship game the next week, and they played the greatest team in NFL history, the undefeated 1972 Miami Dolphins. And here's something for the young people. It was played at Three Rivers Stadium. Back then, there was no home field advantage, even though you had the best record. Miami was undefeated, the only undefeated team in NFL history. They had to come to Pittsburgh. And Mean Joe Green and them boys put it on the Dolphins. Pittsburgh had them beat the whole way. Mel Blount, in my opinion, is the greatest cornerback to ever play in the National Football League.
What color is he?
He's a black guy from all black school.
Okay.
But he could
Just
never
clarifying that.
He could never cover Paul Warfield. I seen the game where Paul Warfield beat him for 3 touchdowns in the second half to beat the Steelers 24-21. Paul Warfield gets loose again on Mel Blount, sparks the turnaround. Pittsburgh Steelers still got them beat. And I never forget, sitting up in the stands, and they had a punter.
Where did you sit? Where'd you sit?
They had a white punter, number 20. And you know that all punters should be white. Steelers got a fat black one. But hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
What?
Disciple. He gets the ball, and I can see L.C. Greenwood, a 6'8" defensive end, running downfield. And Seipel went to punt, and I'm a young kid. I'm like, turn around. And he start running right behind L.C. Greenwood. He gets the first down. Miami Dolphins go up. Pittsburgh Steelers come back. They shut them down in their own end zone. Steelers going to get the ball back. They're going to win the game. Lynn Swann is back for the punt return.
Couldn't have been.
No, that's right. It was Jan Staggers. My fault. Jan Staggers.
72.
Yeah,
Lynn
yeah,
Swan
you're right. It
at
was Jan
USC.
Staggers. I'm sorry. You're right. So
Thanks, Chip. Thank you.
thanks for paying attention. So
How can we miss
this
you?
is the first and only time. This is the first it happened in the NFL. Now all the teams do it. Pittsburgh Steelers got the punt block on, right? They're going to win the game. Even if they get the punt off, Jan Staggers is going to get it in good field position. The punter grabs it, takes a safety. Nobody in NFL history before Don Shula, the late great Don Shula, who I always thought was Italian, found out he's Hungarian, whatever that is. He's the
Hold
first.
it. My grandmother came from Budapest, Hungary.
Which, did she know the Zonkas?
Yeah.
Larry Zonka too?
Yeah.
I always
They were
thought they was
neighbors.
Italian.
They were neighbors.
The name ends in a vowel.
They were neighbors.
So anyhow, they take
Guess
it.
what her last name was?
Budapest?
Hertz.
Hurts.
Yeah, you know the car rental company?
Did they have something to do with that?
I just
family?
told him my grandmother's name.
Does she have something to do with the Hertz business?
No. She was related.
Well,
They had the
as
same last name, and guess where they came from? Budapest.
Budapest.
Hungary.
As I wrap this up, I never met a Hungarian. As I wrap this up,
I have Hungarian blood in me.
it's the
My grandmother.
It's the
Unbelievable.
first time in
What are you
NFL
learning?
history that anybody ever gave up points. And the great Don Shula did it. They
Oh,
won the
that was
game,
your point. Okay.
went on to win the Super Bowl, and they finished the season undefeated. You'll never see another team except for the 2021 Tampa Bay Buccaneers will run the table this year.
Who did they
and go
play in the
undefeated.
Super Bowl that year?
Was that the Washington Redskins?
Yes, it was.
All right,
mean, the
I wasn't at that game.
Washington football team when Garo Upremian
Yes, right. That's right.
What
tried
a
to throw a
play.
pass.
Who beat them the year before, though? In that Super Bowl, because they won 3 years in a row, won 2
Well,
years.
Dallas won.
Yeah.
Did Dallas beat them that
Dallas
year?
beat, but no, I think Baltimore may have beat Dallas.
Yeah,
Because-
Baltimore
Because
beat
the
them.
first two were won by the Packers. The
Yeah.
third was by the Jets. The fourth was by the Chiefs.
Kansas City
The
Chiefs.
fifth was the Colts over the Cowboys.
Yeah, and then who beat in the 6-1? Dolphins lost. Who beat them? Because they won 72 and 73. I don't know who beat them in 71. That's all right. We could look it up. But I wasn't at the Super Bowl. I was at the championship game. And that's a fiction and facts from Smoking Jim's Almanac. I can still see the punter running. Turn around, LC. Turn around.
I feel like knowledge is just being detracted from my mind as you speak. Oh my.
I used to say, talking to somebody like Smoking Jim, I'm now dumber after hearing all that. That's how simple it is. I don't think I lost brain cells, but I know less. Thank you, Smoking. And we'll carry on.
So last week, I went into detail about the misleading numbers on pitch speed that are being used now as a factor in how pitchers are better now than they were in the past. And I don't believe that that's necessarily the truth. I think pitchers in the past were way better than the pitchers of these days because because most pitchers don't throw more than 80 or 90 pitches a game. And when somebody does pitch a complete game, Corey Kluber, for example, threw a no-hitter, complete game, threw over 100 pitches. His next start, he's out with a sore elbow. So that just goes to show you that pitchers in the past used to throw 100 to 130 pitches every 4 days, and were much more effective. But I digress. Part of what is making the pitchers look so good is the lack of quality hitting that's going on at the major league level. And this is a problem that I think has reached epidemic proportions. And some of the numbers that I'm going to put up here show some validity to what I'm saying. Now, I've got a list here of all 30 major league teams. And this is the amount of strikeouts per game that each team has. Now, considering you play a 9-inning baseball game, you've got 27 outs.
Right.
And the top team in the major leagues with an average of 7 strikeouts a game is the Houston Astros, followed by the San Diego Padres, who strike out 8.18 times per game. And the numbers from there go up because those are the lowest numbers on the list.
Sure.
When we get down to the Tampa Bay Rays, who average 11 strikeouts a game.
Wow.
Okay, so out of 27
That'll get a
outs,
pitcher in the Hall of Fame.
now that doesn't necessarily mean that the pitchers are better. That means that the batters are swinging.
Striking out much more.
They're striking out instead of trying to hit the ball, make contact, and make things happen. You wonder why the game's so boring? Well, you know what? If people were hitting the ball and people were running bases and fielders were making plays and guys were being thrown out at bases and bases were being stolen, wouldn't the game of baseball be much more exciting?
Oh yeah.
The answer to that question
How do
is
you know?
absolutely. Absolutely. And just to give you an idea of how poorly the hitting has gotten in Major
Give us
League
some
Baseball,
stats now. Come on.
I can give you some statistics, and I'll start at the beginning of the 20th century.
All right.
Okay, and the
Tell
average,
Smoking Jim when that was, so he can.
the batting average for Major League Baseball. This would include the senior circuit, the National League, and the American League, the junior circuit. The average batting average in 1901 was 272. And the numbers stayed there until you get up into the 1907, 1908, where the batting numbers went down to 245.
Whoa.
And 1908 to 239. The numbers went up after that season.
Wasn't that the dead ball era still?
It was the dead ball era, and the numbers stayed pretty consistent until you got into the 1920s. And in the 1920s, the batting averages for the Major League Baseball, 276 in 1920, 291 in 1921,
Wow.
288 in 22.
What about 27?
284, 1927, 284 was the league-wide batting average. So the
Murderer's
numbers
Row.
stayed pretty consistent over the next 15 or 20 years. We get into the 40s, the averages started dropping down into the 250s and 260s.
Whoa.
We get into the 50s where the averages stayed pretty consistent in the 250s to 260 range. You get into the 60s, the numbers stayed again pretty consistent until they hit an all-time low in 1968.
What a surprise.
And what was 1968
Year of the
significant
pitcher.
for? The year of the pitcher. That was the year that Major League Baseball lowered the pitcher's mound after the 1968 season. Batting averages that year across the major leagues were 237.
Wow.
Okay? So after the mound was lowered, the batting averages started going up. 69, it went to 248. And during the 70s, it started inching up closer to the 250s. You get to the end of the 70s, we're up over 265. Through the 80s, the numbers are staying pretty consistent around the 260 mark. We get into what I guess you could consider part of the steroid era,
Okay.
and just to let people know that the numbers are not as significant of an increase in hitting as you might expect. During the 90s, the numbers hovered around 260, bumped to 270 a couple of times.
What was the highest that was in that group those
Um,
years?
and in that group, 1999, it was 271.
So it almost got to 272 from 1901. I just wanted to get that point
Right.
out there. Yeah.
So in the year 2000, it was 271. The numbers stayed pretty consistent through the first part of the 21st century.
All right.
Through the early 2000s, the numbers stayed at about 265 or
Or so.
relatively close there. Then we hit about 2010, and the numbers started taking a downward spiral.
What did launch angles come out?
Well, 257 in 2010, 255 in 2011, 255 in 2012, 253 2013,
Whoa.
251 2014, back up to 254, 255, 255 in 2017, 248 in 2018. They don't have numbers here for 2019, but I will tell you what the numbers are for this season, year
Lay it
to
on
date.
us.
236 is the league-wide batting average.
Wow.
That is the lowest that it has been
That's 36
In
under
53 years.
1901. Yeah.
that in 53 years. Now, is that because the pitching's better? I don't believe so. I think hitting is worse. I think less emphasis is put on hitting for average. If you, Alan can verify this because Alan was taught the game of baseball at the same time I was.
Yeah.
As a batter, during an at bat, and depending on what the situation was with who was on base, determined what kind of swing you had.
Yeah.
If you had a runner on first, you were trying to swing inside out because you wanted to push the ball to the right side of the field to advance the runner, get him over to third. If
Tell Smoking Jim what
I wasn't
that
taught
means.
that. Any of that.
well, I know because you didn't
Well.
play baseball. You didn't play baseball. That's why.
No verification.
And
This is a foreign language.
and
show.
when you had two
You're right,
strikes
Chip.
on you,
Choke up.
you choked up on the bat. You shortened your swing.
How would I know before you say it, right?
Yeah, because
What's Smoking Jim
we
know?
did it. We did it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you shorten up on your shorten up on your swing. Look to make contact with the ball.
One
And
interruption. What would happen if you got a called third strike on you?
You'd find splinters in your hind end because you would be riding the pine. And
Yes.
another thing, if
I just had to bring that up because that was a key point. Swing
Smoking,
batter.
I bet Nick knows this, and I guarantee you don't. Do you know what the golden sombrero is? Okay. You know what the Olympic rings is?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to achieve one of those two feats in baseball, I promise you were not in the lineup the next day.
I don't know what
That's the way it was. A guy
Well, you
could
weren't in
strike
the lineup
out.
the next day anyhow, so don't worry
A
about
Four
it.
guy could
strikeouts to
strike
five in a
out
single
4
game.
or 5 times in a game.
Right.
And where do you find him? Back in the cleanup spot tomorrow. Because guess what? Sooner or later, he's going to run into one, and he's got to hit a home run. The only problem is people are falling asleep while they're waiting for him to do it.
Sure.
So there
Oh.
you go. That's I believe the home run is an overrated statistic. I think making contact with the ball. I mean, look what Adam Frazier's doing this year.
Right.
Adam Frazier is leading the league in hits and could very well win a batting title this year.
Oh yeah.
And the only problem is that he may not win that title.
Well, look at
playing
what
for the
look
Pirates.
at what the fans are talking about. Not about his success, but what players are we going to get in return when they trade him? That
They
shows you
gonna
the
trade Adam?
mentality of the Pirates.
Well, and you
on that.
also have to look at this. The Pirates are playing a lot of players, and the cupboards were completely bare when Charrington and Derek Shelton took over. And they're evaluating the talent they have, and they're severely lacking in talent. We have one legitimate major league outfielder
Right.
playing in our outfield right now.
Right.
Okay, that's a problem.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
now, we don't have a legitimate major league first baseman playing first base for us. That's a problem. We don't have replacements in the outfield anywhere in our farm system right now.
Right.
That's a problem. So, you have to look at it. What can we get? Well, what we need is we need talent in our minor league system. We need
Sure.
to develop the talent. We need to get it up here into the major leagues and find out, can you play this game at this level or can you not? And if you can't,
Right.
get them
Next
out
one
and
up.
get other people in. It's a brutal process,
Yeah.
but it has to be done.
No doubt about it. Thank you, Chip.
All right. Well, I got to keep this brief.
No, we can carry on.
Carry on.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
All right. So Chip said something a couple weeks ago that stuck. He said Nick doesn't respect the game. That's why he thinks the way he does. Which, whether he said that sarcastically or not, I was just kind of like, well, you know what? What does that mean? What does it mean to have respect in sports or for sports? So we were talking about batters hitting home runs with a 3-0 count late in a lopsided game. I would argue in that case that Tony La Russa, the manager, was more disrespectful toward his player and not defending him rather than Mercedes doing what he's paid to do and hitting a home run. That being said, you got to look at more of how the game's evolving and how we're a diverse culture today. Talking about, like what is disrespectful anymore? We saw in the NBA, players got bottles thrown on them and trash thrown on them for the crowd. Most would argue that that's clearly disrespectful. A manager who doesn't defend his player, or a player who openly is upset with his manager during a game, that we can clearly see is disrespectful. But when we look at the game, there's that gray area where there are the few people out there that think that it's disrespectful to swing 3-0 late in a lopsided game, and there are some that think it's fine. And I know you mentioned before about how you're disrespecting players by doing that, you're disrespecting your team, but his players are on social media defending him. It's his players, and players are on the League War, as well as several fans out there who were defending him and what he did, and I think it's fine. But ultimately, it comes down to what are we all fighting for when it comes to sports? What about just plain respect are we looking at and fighting for? The ultimate point is that I'm living in a world right now where you've got other sports that have instant gratification and are grabbing people's attention, but I love baseball. It's my favorite sport, and I want other people to find a way to love it too. So whether it's we have constant home runs, we have players who are getting stronger and hitting more home runs and sacrificing average, that might be boring to some, but it might be interesting to others. So I just want people to like the game, and I think that when you think about what respect is in a sport, think about why you think something is disrespectful. Is it that big of a deal? Is it that game-breaking? And again, I think that a player hitting a home run late in a lopsided game, and a 3-0 pitch, if it were 3-1, 3-2, would it have been any very different? It's already a lopsided game. There's a position player on the mound. I get that, but you ultimately got to think. When you have a manager not defending his player, I think that holds more ground, and that says more about an organization and what they're worried about, rather than a player who's just doing what he's paid to do.
I kept quiet so you could make
You
your
can
point.
rebut.
I'd like to. So, you think that it was disrespectful for the manager to call out the player, but yet you don't think it was disrespectful for the player not to follow the manager's instruction.
I don't. In my opinion, of the evidence that I saw, La Russa was not screaming take, and La Russa and Yerman Mercedes did not have enough time to look at the third base coach to get a sign.
We're gonna argue.
There's no hard evidence
either way. The fact
either
of the
way.
matter is, the manager's in charge of the team, and the players are to follow the manager's instructions. And when a player openly defies the manager,
Then that's disrespectful.
then that's
Yes.
disrespectful, and that warrants
Well, you
being
two can
treated
agree on that.
disrespectful.
Yes.
You can agree on that point.
But that's
I just
my
don't think
point.
there's enough evidence
Because-
that he actually did
But
that.
there's
I think he
there's
lied
no
in his press
evidence that
conference.
proves that he didn't. Either.
Correct.
So there, you leave it at that. I have to go by what people say, and I have to take them at their word.
Well, I don't believe Tony La Russa. He's old and needs to
Well,
stop
then
managing.
what would make you believe somebody else?
Well, I mean, with what
Well, I mean,
broadcasts
if
have today.
you say he doesn't have any credibility, what gives anybody else more credibility that you would believe them? And not
Well, no, here's what I'm saying. You have evidence, when the Astros were banging trash cans, you have evidence from broadcasts that you heard the trash can bangs. I did not hear La Russa in any videos that I analyzed yell take.
No.
And that's my
No,
point. Because
yeah,
if he
but-
said
but
take,
was he-
somebody would have picked it up.
Was he mic'd up?
No, but neither were the Astros banging trash cans, but you can still hear the trash cans in the dugout. That's my point. Somebody would have picked up him yelling
Well,
take.
I think
That's my
he
opinion.
just wants proof of what you're verifying
Right.
with La Russa.
Right.
Because he's saying sources that he's gone by have the proof that he did that.
I understand that.
I gotta agree with Nick on this.
I don't believe
You're
him.
out of any baseball conversation.
If he
Well, I'm
told you,
complete, that's all.
if he told you I was white, that's the only thing you disagree with.
All right, I'm going to put in my constant. You guys can agree to disagree to another day. You both made good points, and he did say he does respect, the sport. So I just think
that's good.
That's some common ground for further shows and opinions. Again, we bring out opinions when we have information like I pitched, Chip pitched, Nick pitched. Smoking Jim doesn't
pitching
know.
right now? Look at him.
Doesn't know who his catcher. If he threw like that, his arm would be sore. And then he's throwing darts. His motion was like a dart. Mine was straight overhand, buddy. So you have no clue. Thank you, Nick. We're going to come back with my segment, and that'll be it to end the show, I think. We'll see.
Don't take it the wrong way. I enjoy
right.
the give and take. I'm going to make you.
Well, on location. We're back. All right, they were just discussing their points. On location, we got a boxing match coming up that Nick's all in, Longview. Country Club. No shorts, no jeans, just dress pants and dress shoes out there.
Oh,
Look
that
at
ought to
the
be
Country
interesting.
Club.
Does that include the fighters?
Yes.
Do I get to wear my? Can I wear my?
As they
VIP,
come in.
can I wear my VIP outfit?
No.
Oh,
No, you could wear it. Yeah, especially with the sunglasses. You could wear that. We just might need you to lift them up to check the camera out. But we'll be there. I was told by Jimmy there, make sure Smoking Jim's not dressed like a bum. So I understand that because he's outspoken.
Hey,
And
he's like the nature boy. He'll be styling and profiling.
oh, he
Yeah.
always will. So
Yeah.
the sweeties will recognize him. That's for sure. But we're going to be out there for I think 10 or 11 amateur bouts, so it should be a great night there. We're glad to hear that. And on location, we're looking for some other different places. I've had a couple suggestions, so I got people following up on that stuff that maybe we'll be on another location or two around here. Local bars and restaurants that are opening up are all possibilities because we've done that on Monday night for years, so we'll check that stuff out. And we appreciate your great feedback on our shows. Thanks for watching the show that Nick put up, USS Fight Academy Part 2, number 2 fight. And we got hundreds of people watching it, so there's a lot of popularity out there for these things. So we look forward to the next one, and we'll have some fun out there. And we'll just see what happens in the neighborhood. We're going to have just less than 2 minutes. So, Smoking Jim, your point to anything?
Can I ask you and Chip a question? I know you and Chip weren't able to see the Immaculate Reception because it wasn't televised.
I heard it.
Was
I
that
listened to it on the radio.
You
you
Jack
listened to it
Fleming.
on? Was
I
the,
listened to
Was
it.
the Miami Dolphin game, championship game, televised, or did you have to listen to it on the radio too?
I forget.
Okay.
It's hard for me to remember that.
You know what? I think it was
I do remember the
televised.
game was played on Saturday, and it was played on a 24-hour tape delay on WPXI.
I saw the
on
tape
Sunday.
delay. Yeah.
So we saw, but I remember listening to the Immaculate Reception
Mm-hmm.
in my best friend's kitchen, listening to Jack Fleming on the radio, and we were jumping up and down, hooting and hollering. Couldn't believe that the Steelers won. It was an incredible moment.
Yeah, almost
Yes, it was.
Almost got knocked over the side of the.
Where were you
Really?
sitting? What section was that?
My uncle, everybody was so happy. They almost went over, man.
As we verify a non-answer again, no section given. None whatsoever. Thanks for your input, Chip.
Peanut
Thanks,
heaven.
Smoking Jim. That was in the 500-some sections. I sat there for the 74 All-Star game.
600. I was at the 74
Yeah,
hour.
yeah, right at the flagpole. We were right behind the flagpole.
I couldn't see the left fielder from where we were sitting.
We were center field where the flag was.
Yeah,
so.
I couldn't
Yes.
see the left fielder.
Thanks for your input there, Nick. VIP time. We're going to end the show. Thanks for watching us on our final Thursday night I hope for this year. Tuesday nights we'll be back giving you our opinions, information, trying to have some fun. So please stay Joey strong.